Focus now is now on the equities market and the performance of the market since the beginning of the year. The first trading day, the equity prices on the Nigerian exchange closed higher in the first trading week of the year amid rekindled investors' buying interest and the expected fourth quarter unaudited accounts and demand for Buafu PLC, which was listed on the NGX on Wednesday last week. The key performance of the NGX had also been bullish over the week there. But the performance for the week went straight 4 days with the four trading sections after Monday's holiday to celebrate the new year, thereby extending the positive sentiment of the last trading week of 2021 to the first trading of the year, when it recorded about 0.46% on Tuesday. Well, this trend was sustained at the midweek Thursday and Friday, with the index rallying by about 1.05%, 0.30%, and 0.60% respectively, bringing the week's total gain to 2.66%. So you can see year to date till now has grown. The market has grown to about 2.66% compared to the previous week gain of 1.07%. So let's put perspective now. Of course, ahead of the fourth quarter earnings, the manufacturing sector is looking up, and we're seeing a bit of investors' appetite and sentiment being tilted towards the consumer goods. So we'll be looking at that in a moment. Ambrose Omodion joins us now to look at that. He is the Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consulting Limited. He joins me live here in the studio. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me again. Yeah.
Yes, I want us to look at the week in perspective now, or in retrospect, or in review, as you prefer to put it. The first trading week was positive. Now, what would you likely attribute these positive sentiment we're seeing in the market?
Actually, I would say that the first trading week of the year, starting on a positive note, is a good thing for the market. After the last month of the year, December, closed negative, and that would be like almost for a straight 5 years, and we're just seeing December closing negative. The Santa Claus expectation in December was a kind of the fighting was not in the market. That's all about. We're seeing that end of the year window dressing have been extended into the first trading week of the year. Why? Because January in Nigeria market have shown to be another month to watch. Because before, the effect of January has been up and down because of people say there's a, but now there's a kind of a positive sentiment coming with January, because before now, I've said it earlier in the program, we don't see Q4 unaudited account. It start coming. That also give kind of momentum to the market for me. And also don't forget that I also expecting some economic data to come. And we've seen that for the for the last year 2021, most of the economic data that came from the month of almost July to December are positive data, and I would expect that that's also to continue in this month of January. I expect that we're expecting the consumer price index for December, and that also we're looking at the budget has been released. I've been signed into law, and that also is a guiding investor which sector of the economy the government going to spend more, and that will see that people are trying to reposition their portfolio to suit all this expectation. Also, don't forget that the year ended December 31st. We're expecting to see the audited account of this company from this first quarter of the year. That means anywhere from this January, we'll start seeing this number. Then why dividend will start coming again? And in Nigeria, this first quarter is the earning, the most earnings. What I put in, is the most important or the peak of earnings in Nigeria. Let me use that language, because here most companies that are listed on the exchange, they are more than 80%, and they release the result in this first quarter, and they come with reward in terms of dividend. That alone also is the guiding most of the institutional investors. Despite most of them have not resumed where to put their money. Now that we're expecting dividend, and also at the end they are looking at what is happening in the fixed income market, where we see that despite that the inflation is declining almost around 15.4, it's still most of the returns in the fixed income market still remain negative, despite they are saying they are up by 12%, but because it's below inflation, that means its real return is what negative. These are what people are balancing to see. If we can make shorter return in equity market in less than 6 months, I make 10%, 15%, it's better they move more.
So what you are saying is that we're likely to witness more capital inflow into the equities market than what is happening
and also
in the market.
Because of any season, go and check the any season in Nigeria, anywhere in the world, during any season, more activity in terms of inflow, in terms of activity, in terms of demand is always associated with any season. And what already entering that earnings season gradually. For me, I see that the market might likely maintain this momentum. And don't forget that the market touched about 44,000, 602. 44,602 before it pulled back, and also market has formed another V shape now, looking up again to tell you that this recovering will be sustained in the market, and it will be sustained for why. I think investors should smile, because I see market breaking out the last resistance level of 44
thousand and above.
Yeah.
But let's look at some top gainers and top losers, or let's say top decliners for the week. You have the like of cornerstones. The top gainers, you have the likes of BOA, which went up about 9.92%.
Yes.
I'm sure we should have that on our screen any moment from now to show you some of the top gainers and top losers for, in the market last week. You have, like, in terms of sector performances, you have all of that there. But let's look at, for you, now, which one was the most value stock and why?
No, if you look at the top gainers for the week, I'll tell you, they're highly dominated by low cap stocks. I call them bookable stock. I think only stock that I see that is meaningful to me, or high cap stock, is just the BOA food that just recorded about 33% for the week. But others that recorded 20, 18, they are low cap stocks. It tells you that investors are really repositioning their portfolio, but most of these medium and the blue chip stocks is where they are looking at, and because they are just buying in, we have not seen much return for the first trading week of the year. But I believe that subsequently going into this month, we'll see more position taken in those dividend paying stocks and the blue chips company that will reflect on it. But for me, BOA being a new listed food company, the demand is still there. And you can see that the price is still going up because there is a positive sentiment for the stock. For me, it's a good one for BOA food. But I also advise investors, now the stock are recorded almost 40% from Wednesday listed to date. I think this time we should start thinking of how can you take profit, because most things that when this stock is on a high bid now, yes, you might get it, might not get, but for those that are lucky to get it on the first trading day that it was listed, I think you should not be greedy in the market. That's why I said this is not the time we're going to be looking at 100% return in the market, because market is just recovering and it's just the start of the year. If you have made good 40%, 30% for your first trading week for the year, it's a good business for you to start taking your profit. Or unless you're a long-term investor that want to stay with BOA, yes, we know that food business anywhere in the world is a good business to actually, but when there's policy...
Just a moment, because I was going to ask you, BOA food, the shares of BOA food seems to have taken the shine of others, shares in the market. But this money that has been raised via this listing, where do you think they are going to channel it to, and why?
No, this is a listing. It's not that
because you expect that the money generated or the money raised from these should be put into something in form of expansionary plan. Actually,
they are not raising new fund with this they are listing. This is listing by introduction. They're not bringing the state for people to have access to trade it on the exchange. It will tell me that, okay, bringing it to the value of the stock might also influence institution for people that want to invest. Not that the company is raising additional fund from this listing. It's just for you and I to have access. Before, it's just people that have access to the stock. It's not equity.
What I mean is that this will impact on their bottom line.
Right? No. The price movement on equity does not change your bottom line. It is your own, the bottom line of the company that change the price. It's not the price. What I'm saying that what I'm saying is that this is going to add more credibility to BOA food, and at the same time, it's going to boost market capitalization. And also, the shareholders in that company, their worth has also increased. For example, now if
more likely the investors are the one benefiting
from this,
basically from this list.
But the good thing is that the name BOA food now registered that it's a listed company, more transparent. Now, when I start seeing their earnings as at when to do analysis, when companies are listed on the exchange, it's one of the things that attract people to them. They become more transparent. You can see what they are doing. But when a company is still either public but not listed, to have access to their data, it's so difficult. But when they are listed like this, because it's part of pre-listing requirements for any company, you must send your earnings, anything that's happening in the company, to the public to know than before when you are a private or anything you call yourself. But now a public company, even though when you are going to check anything, the public must know that what you are doing. For me, it makes BOA more transparent with the listing, and also add value to people that are shareholders of BOA.
I want us to look at, away from BOA now, BOA's food, and look at some of the third quarter earnings position of the Nigerian manufacturing companies. Of course, BOA is in that subsector and all of that. But let's look at, for instance, we've seen earnings from these companies, and it's boosting that sector particularly those who are particularly in the food subsector. You have the flour mills there, you have the Nestle there, you have Dangote Sugar, you have Unilever, you have Okomo Oil. Now, where do you think, because now you said earlier that because of the inflation, even though it's around 15%, yet the return on fixed income is still very negative. So among all of these shares, I'm not asking you to pick one out now,
Okay.
but where is the equity or what you call capital likely to flow into in the coming weeks, and what's the way forward in terms of chart and chart analysis and all of that?
No, looking at the market generally, as the Q3 numbers has given investor insight where this company are going, because I've seen that for 2021, I'll tell you that most of the listed companies that exchange posted a positive number, which is good for the market. It tells you that those numbers will support your payout, because that you don't give what you don't have. If you are posting positive number, your investors should look forward that yes, at the end of the year they should get dividend from you. But if you are posting a number that is not positive, that is negative, they don't expect it. But now we have seen that most of the food and beverage companies or manufacturing companies in Nigeria have posted positive number. It's a sign that we expect dividend from them. But what matters at this point is that investors will look at what is the dividend yield for in this sector. What the dividend, and if you stock like Nestle, yes, they are considering the dividend payment, but dividend yield is very small because of what the price is high. They look at stock like Dangote Sugar. You can see that the dividend yield in that stock now is even better in that industry because of what the price is relatively low, and also we know the worth of the company. For me, investors are looking at where can I make money, but those companies that are consistent in dividend payment is where funds are likely to flow to. Stock like I know that for Flour Mill, we're just expecting their third quarter to come. For Boa, we just see their 11-month account. But for those that are December year end, like this Boa, we see that at the end of this at the end of December, they now work to have their full 12-month account. That means we likely also see it when we're expecting more audited in this first quarter. But with the number we're seeing now, as an investor, this number should guide you where I should put my money. You see that any per share for Boa around the 4 naira 38 kobo, that of the Nestle around the 40 something naira. But what is the price of Nestle? You do that, want to look at which one will pay me dividend that will be more commensurate to the price, that I will get more value. That's why I said investors are looking at where they see consistent dividend payout from these companies, and also looking at those that are likely to grow their payout this time. Because the number you are seeing, they will tell you if they surpass their performance as at full year, that means the Q3 will give you an insight what they are likely to pay at the end of the year. For me, for 2021, the sector is looking good. But we are looking at this year, if eventually they increase, they remove the subsidy, inflation might also bounce back up and start skyrocketing again. That also might affect
before you give us a chart into, what is likely to play out in the coming weeks in terms of activities and where sentiments of investors is
likely to look at.
But let's look at Nestle. Beg your pardon, not Nestle now. Nigerian breweries, which plays
on the food
in the food subsector, and of course with the policy of the government to impose about 10 naira tax on carbonated drinks. How are investors reacting to this, and more importantly, how is those playing in that sector, for instance, Nigerian breweries, reacting to that news?
Yeah, actually,
and what it means for the sector, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, for me, anywhere, tax is going to impact their bottom line at the end of the day, because government will take from what they are making, fine. But as a company, you're always going to play flexible with all these policies to know where you are. If Nigeria breweries have done full backward integration in Nigeria, that means they are not importing more of their raw material to Nigeria, because if they are importing with high this exchange rate, also government is starting that means at the end of this, it's going to hit their bottom line. But if there's way they can play around it, they can also, but only that most I don't discuss more on Nigeria breweries or any brewery companies because of their nature. But really, of course, on the air, I believe that should play out. But for me, other companies that are there, investors should look at. I believe, yes, inflation might slow down the consumption of food, but I tell you, because food is essential, if you are eating, let's say, for example, 4 bags of rice before, if there's no kind of little austerity there, you can reduce it to 3. That means, so that is only about food is essential. That is why the food sector, that's why the economy is in recession and everything. See, there's activities there because people have to take care of their tummy and all the stuff. That means as an investor, if you are thinking long term, you can look the role of food because it's a consistent business that we need to look at. But for me, I see potential in some of the stock there that will guide investors. Especially look at the numbers, Q3 number, that will give you a guide. But if you really want to get stock to buy on this thing, you can clearly which was invested that will have a product that can give you stock to buy on a weekly and a monthly and 6 months on 1 year basis to guide you. But for now, I believe that those sectors are giving us what is going to happen at the end of the year. Now that we see that majority of the company that has what December as year end.
Give us your price movement and analysis for the market as you have to go. I know you have that prepared already on the chart.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you that the sentiment in the market for equity is on a positive rise, because for the week order review, we saw 100% buy volume. That means the investors are looking at what equity now, especially supported by the kind of sentiment we are seeing in BUA, and also what those dividend paying stock at the end of the year. You can see, look at the index that gained within the week. See that you saw that banking sector index was about 0.78, while the oil sector was about 2.56. Tells you that these are areas we are looking at opportunity, because we are seeing that going forward, I think that these banks are consistent in dividend payment, and for that, and also the oil sector where people are taking position now, because one, crude oil price have bounced back to above $80. It's a plus for the industry and the economy. These are things that are guiding investors to take position at this moment. But if you look at the trend line here, it says that the market is purely still bullish. For me, it's a good thing that the market is on a strong run. You can see this straightforward, because the price action or index action is above the trend line. It tells you that the market is strong. And don't forget that market touched around 44,062 and pull back, then and form a strong support level around this point of 42. Now it's coming back again powerfully. That means if the market break out the recent resistance level, which is at this point here, that tells you that the market is likely to break out what the last resistance level of 44, and that market will targeting around what 45,000. That is the peak here. Down here, let me just make this so that you can see what I'm saying. That alone should guide you as an investor what you do at this point. That if the market is looking at breaking out this 2018, that the market touched January around 45,000 index. Now market is already heading to break out the recent resistance level at this point. Once you break this out, we'll see a strong run. And don't forget that we said January, as we expect more unaudited accounts to hit the market. Once they start hitting the market and confirm the direction of this company, that will add momentum to the market. I can see that the chart is very, very positive for the market. It tells you that you should not panic if you're in the market, because market has formed already a V shape in the last trading weeks of this year, first year, and the previous week of the last week of 2021. For that, you don't need to panic in the market. We are seeing a good shape, and when you see this kind of shape in the market, in your chart, it tells you where the market is going. And also your MACD is very, very strong at this point to give you a guide. You can see that MACD is also trying to also reverse up on on the weekly chart. This market is still bullish. You can see this is a bullish MACD, because it has not crossed down and market is still looking up. You can see that the red one have closed the blue one from down. Tells you that this market is going somewhere from this point. You don't need to panic in the market at all, but rather tilt your position, because the chart and the sentiment in the market are moving in the same direction. Also, we're expecting positive earnings, and we have seen positive sentiment in the market. When we are seeing this to the market, a positive chart, positive earnings, and positive what? Fundamental. This tells you that market is going to. So as an investor, you look at a stock that is having an upright rally in price, earnings is going up, volume traded is going up, sentiment is going up. These 4 key points should guide you as an investor what to do at this point. Sentiment is up, fundamental is up, price is up, and volume is up. Once you are seeing these 4 points on the stock or any sector, tell you that is where to be at this point, especially if you're a trader. For those that are long-term investors, yes, your target might be dividend and earnings. But for we that are traders, we combine both the dividend, the fundamental and technical, to know where to be at the right time, so you can take advantage of the market. That is why chart is very important for you at any time to know what to do, especially if you're a trader in the market. That is why you must know how to combine these 2 analyses, your fundamental and technical, at any time in the market to know where you are standing.
Last week, the banking sector, seems to dominate the market, trailing behind the Boas, Food PLC. You have Wema Bank amongst the top traded, volume, stock by volume. You also have, top traded by value as well. You also have the banking sector there. Zenith Bank is there. You also have GTCO company there in that particular order. So which of the sectors do you think we're likely to see dominating the market in the next in the
new week? We'll see. I expect what we call profit taking in this week. I expect a mixed market this week because markets have rallied for the first trading week of the year to close positive 2.66, and some stocks have rallied, especially those low cap stocks and some dividend paying stocks. There might be little profit taking, but because there's earnings ahead, if the earnings start hitting the market from this week, you must also add momentum, but expect a mixed performance. But the good thing is that you see market having mixed performance and a little pullback. That pullback is for an investor to take position. Like your question, for me, the sector that once you look at it now is look at the telecom sector, look at the banking sector, because in history of Nigeria market, we see that the most consistent sector that pay dividend out every year is the banking sector, followed by the consumer, then telecom is a new one on the exchange board. Since they came, we have seen that they are consistent in their dividend payments, especially MTN, and they are paying dividend. Then also the oil sector now, we are seeing what is expected to kind of support their bottom line at the end of the day to boost their cash flow. That is where we're looking at. Also, don't forget to look at the industrial sector, because as far that we're having this infrastructure gap in Nigeria, that means there'll be kind of that drive to develop the nation in terms of infrastructure. There'll be demand for that. That's why Boa Cement, WAPCO, Dangote, they also dividend paying stock, and the sector they operate in. These are the sector that you should position yourself ahead of their numbers. Now that we have seen their Q3 number, who we are going to discuss subsequently in this program, we'll be looking at the sector by sector, telling you the numbers you are likely to expect at the end of the day. I believe that full year result will shape the market between this first quarter and the end of March 31st. That is the place we should invest. But I believe that this Q1 also, January the 1st, is likely also to close positive, depending on activities after the MPC meeting. But I believe that the MPC meeting that is coming this month, we don't expect any adjustment in terms of rate, because
I was going to ask you that, should we expect any adjustment in the current rate that we have?
No, we don't need to adjust anything now, because we're still fighting Omicron virus now. I don't know how it's going to affect this economy. That's why the economy is going to show some of resilience and all those stuff. But we believe that CBN, in their wisdom, or their MPC members should not temper with the rate now, because if you really want to sustain the recovery, that's why we're saying that it's still fragile. It's not the time to kind of go there and deflate the recovery we are seeing. For me,
I know the Nigerian market is not independent of the other global market when you talk about equities market as well. But when you look at the impact of the Omicron variant in the global market, on the global scene, where, I mean, a lot of people are saying we're not likely to see that impact in Africa. How much of that impact do you think that can have on the market?
I think it will have impact on the market if the economy is closed down again. I think that no government in Africa is likely to close down the economy for Omicron virus also because now we have seen little of vaccination, the role is playing in the economy, and also intervention here and there by government. Only that we're encouraging more Nigerians to go and vaccinate, so that we know that yes, we are really we're trying to resist the so-called variant and so-called virus. For me, this will not affect much on the body, rather because of some measures it's on the ground. I can see that even with the Omicron, the flights are still flying. But when the first COVID-19 breakout, you see everywhere was closed, but I don't see many economy in the Africa region here closing down the economy, because it's going to affect them. We have seen the impact when they tried to close, but now they are seeing recovery and they can manage it. I think there's no need of closing the economy because of the
Let's try to drive home now. Will the market still earn in the positive territory at the end of the week? Your outlook for the week?
But for me, I said earlier that my outlook is still a mixed outlook for the market, because profit taking is likely to take place within this week. And if numbers start rolling in the unaudited account, we're seeing that it's going to also add momentum to the market. For that, I see a mixed performance, for the week. But as an investor, if you are those company that has good fundamentals and we expect dividend and they are concerned, you don't need to panic whether the market is oscillating or kind of having some volatility. You don't need to panic. Hold your position. Rather, watch your volume, watch your price direction. This will guide you to see if you're a trader like me, you don't need to panic because market is shaking. Rather, have a support level, we call it a support level or a stop loss that will guide you whether you should sell off your position or not. There's no need of you panicking the market, because the market is always there to make money for those that know how to design, and those that want to sell. Buyers are already in the market. For me, our market is good at this because it's still positive and looking good.
I think we need to leave it there. Thank you so much, Ambrose Morgan, Chief Research Officer, Invest Consulting Limited. Thank you for coming on the program.